agenda
No.
for today is
No.
get your girls get married early.
No. वो ज़माने चले गए. Get married when you want to. Have a baby when you want to.
What is in your gut? I mean, when I say gut, what comes in contact with our gut?
You have to make sure, get your blood test, get your if there is a major problem of pigmentation, visit your doctor, visit your gynecologist, and check your hormones first.
हमें लगता है कि when we turn 40, ये acne तो अब आएगा नहीं. Because you know that is a teenage thing. We all know it's a problem of puberty. पर ये acne कहाँ से आ जाता है 40s में?
Who's got a breast cancer, be aware of that. So the best time to examine your breast is immediately after you finish your periods.
We put on weight, belly fat, and we get grumpy or grouchy sometimes. But there are many more symptoms which are not aware related to skin, our mental health, and our gut health. So we'll be getting loads of answers from our panel of experts here. Before we start, let me give you a brief intro on Fixderma. I'm the founder of a skincare company called Fixderma. And as the name suggests, we fix your derm. We have more than 200 types of skincare products for any kind of your skin ailment. We treat your hair and skin problems. We are present in more than 30 plus countries. We are present in all the OTC channels, marketplaces, and we are supported by around 15,000 dermats pan-India. I have a very interesting panel of experts here. Our first panelist is Dr. Deepti Dhillon. She is our fellow resident. She's a very famous influencer. But before that, she was captain in army. I mean, that's really is something to be very proud of. She's a renowned dermatologist and medical director of Apple Skin Clinic. She has 22 years of experience. And as I just said, that she has served as a doctor in the Indian Army. She has received training from esteemed dermatologists across the UK, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Korea. And another panelist is Dr. Anjali Kumar. She's a senior consultant and gynecologist. She has 33 years of experience based in Gurgaon. She leads the gynecology department at CK Birla Hospital, specializing in advanced endoscopic surgery, robotic surgery, and high-risk pregnancies. She an ex-army officer, yoga enthusiast, and founder of Maitri, a global digital platform for women health. Dr. Ishi Khosla, she's a clinical nutritionist with 39 years of experience. She's an author, entrepreneur, and a welfare worker. She's the founder of Whole Foods India. She's passionate advocate for healthy eating. Okay, I have also taken her diet a few years back. She's a very strict dietitian, but she did fix me. And I think my daughter also took your diet. She had anxiety issues. So many things actually we don't know, because my daughter was also going through hormonal imbalance. She was 19. She had put on weight. She was going through depression, a lot of mental health problems. Acne was all over her face, and she was crying for no reason all the time. So anxiety issues, and then I think we connected with her, and she got her fixed. And she continues, and she's a very mindful. She eats in a very mindful way. What she's eating, what is going inside your body, she thinks before she eats. So a very important person for all of us. So Dr. Deepti, tell me how our skin gets affected, because I think most of the women are really worried about the skin.
So there are a lot of hormonal changes in a female's life, starting from puberty to then, getting pregnant, lactation, and then menopause. So there are a lot of hormonal ups and downs, especially related to gynecology. And all this affects our skin in numerous ways. And you can start seeing the effects as early as when you're teenage, with a lot of acne, oil production on the skin, a lot of back acne, body acne, facial hair, which we call hirsutism, and pigmentation during pregnancy, post-pregnancy, during lactation period, during menopause again, dark spots, sagging skin, fine lines, wrinkles. So there are n number of things that we all go through, and all these we'll discuss how we can tackle all of this.
Yeah. So Dr. Anjali, आप simple terms में बताओ, when perimenopause starts, what age actually starts? Some say it's around 35, 40, Or simple terms, please, can you break it down?
For me, it's very, very special to talk to women about issues which concern them. And I really feel every woman has a right to empower themselves with the right knowledge. It's very, very important. In today's times, when we have so much of information at the click of a button, what is right, what is wrong, that is very, very important to people to understand. So, like Dr. Deepti said, as women, we are privileged to undergo so many natural changes also, right from the teenage, and then when you get married, you become pregnant, and then you're breastfeeding your child, and then finally you go into menopause. We actually should be proud of what we do in our lifetimes. So much we go through, and finally we reach a time which is menopause. As the name suggests, menopause means menopause. Menses pause. Now, there is no fixed age for menopause.
Okay.
It is different for every woman. Why does that happen? Because as women, we take birth with fixed number of eggs in our ovary. Unlike men who continue to, produce sperms even till they are 70 or 80, women are born with fixed number of eggs at the time of birth.
So don't you think God was biased?
Yes, maybe. But then, God thought that women will be able to manage this, not men. So we should be proud of what we have done, right? So, interestingly, a woman, a girl child, when she's born with, let's say, about, 5 to 10 million eggs in her ovary, millions eggs. By the time she reaches her puberty, she just has about 3 to 4 lakh eggs only left in her ovary. By the time she is in early 20s, now this number drops to just 1 to 1.5 lakhs only. By the time she's 40, she's probably have just about 25,000 eggs left in her ovary. So when the eggs finish, obviously the periods don't come. So obviously it is menopause. So the more number of eggs you are born with, you will have menopause later. If you are born with lesser number of eggs, obviously the menopause will come early. Now this is also dependent genetically. You must have seen my mother had an early menopause, so I am getting an early menopause. But today, we are seeing such disturbing phenomena. Women at the age of 35, 34 are going into complete menopause. Just about a few days back, I had a woman. She was a CEO of a big organization. She was 33. She came with a missed period. Very happy, ma'am. I think I'm pregnant. We did a pregnancy test. It was negative. We did further investigations and we found out she's in menopause. So probably because of pollution, stress, pesticides, herbicide, environmental toxins, women are losing their eggs faster. Now, this is one message I want all of you to take in, whether you want to tell this information to your daughters, to your cousins, or everything. This is a reality.
So girls get married early, right?
No.
The agenda
No.
for today is
No.
to get your girls get married early.
No. वो ज़माने चले गए. Get married when you want to. Have a baby when you want to.
But you are
Only-
saying when we turn
No.
40,
Hear me out.
3% of eggs are left.
Hear me out. So, in case you decide that I want to get married at 40 or maybe 35 and have a baby when I'm 40, when I'm settled in my career, talk to the doctor. How much is my ovarian reserve? There are lots of options these days, like egg freezing and so many things. You can freeze your eggs so that you have a good backup plan. You want to get married at 20? I, as a gynecologist, I'm very happy. I like women who come to me in earlier ages because medically the outcomes of pregnancy are much better. But having said that, I would never want a woman to have a baby when she's not ready for it. This is most important. Bachcha tabhi paida karna hai when you find the right partner and when you are absolutely, okay
Independent.
with the idea of being a mother.
But don't you think we need to scare the girls a bit?
Not at all. We don't need to scare them, but it is important to educate them. Okay, look, this is a reality. We need to understand God made our bodies in a particular way. We were designed to get pregnant in early 20s. But today, women have a lot more to do. And they must. They must be very proud of what they are doing. But in case you are deciding to wait, make sure that you are aware of the biological limitations of the body and take actions accordingly. This is what I want to say.
So, Dr. Khosla, we had been discussing about menopause, perimenopause, hormonal imbalance. So, can you give us some insight, like what we should eat?
What is in your gut? I mean, when I say gut, what comes in contact with our gut? So we really, whatever we eat on our plate is impacting our health, and vice versa can make us unhealthy in every aspect of our being. And therefore, it's not surprising that 2,500 years ago, Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said all diseases begin in the gut, and all means ALL in caps. And really, whether it's your immunity or whether it's your skin or your hair, you can, and you just said, the acne. And I see these transformations on a daily basis in my practice. So whether we are dealing with issues like women's health or we are dealing with vital organs, diseases of the liver or the heart or the kidney, everything changes with the gut. And therefore, we are squarely responsible for our health, and the understanding of this is absolutely critical, starting from children. And I think everybody today understands food, and good food and the knowledge of good food is out there. So we shouldn't be saying educating children. It's not, or the public. I think we just need to change the way we think about our food.
Right.
That is what.
So, we'll come back to the gut. So, Dr. Deepti, tell me, ये hormones keep playing soccer with us all the time. तो हमें लगता है कि when we turn 40, ये acne तो अब आएगा नहीं. Because, that is a teenage thing. We all know it's a problem of puberty. पर ये acne कहाँ से आ जाता है 40s में?
So yeah, the adult acne has literally taken over the world. Every female who comes to my clinic after the age of 30, 40, they're like, "Ye teenage mein to kabhi aaya nahi. Why is this happening now?"
Right.
So the adult acne is happening most of the time at this point of time because of pollution, the pesticides and insecticides, whatever we are consuming. Number two, a lot of cortisol levels are up because of the stress levels. So when our stress hormone goes up, the cortisol levels go up. This leads to a lot of acne around the chin area, which we call hormonal acne. Now, this is happening in a lot of females after the age of 40. And so what happens when they come to me, they keep delaying it. They feel, thoda sa acne hai, chala jayega. I'm not even menstruating now. Why is this happening? Menopause bhi aa gaya. Why am getting acne? So now this is one big thing which the change that happens. The stress levels go up and our eating habits. And of course, the gut is not able to digest a lot of food at this time. So you have to be mindfully eating. A lot of lifestyle changes during this time are needed to take care of the adult acne. It is not just a topical application at this point of time. Now there's a lot of stress management and the hormone management that is needed for the adult acne. And also to act fast is always better in case of acne, because if you delay it too much as an adult, we feel chala jayega, which doesn't go. It keeps on happening around the chin again and again and again over a period of time, which leads to scars and acne scars. So now these start showing, and then there is little, you've delayed the whole process of treating the acne and you end up with a lot of scars. So I would suggest everyone, if you have adult acne, start taking care of it little early than you think.
I've also noticed adult acne doesn't happen on your cheeks, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
generally on the
hormone
chin area.
Yeah, because it is hormone related. Usually it will be around the chin area, jawline. You will see most of the acne around this area, maybe sometimes on the back, but usually on the jawline.
Right. So, Dr. Anji, let's come back to your estrogen level, which is already depleted. Now, what next?
Hey, kuch nahi karna, be happy with it. We should be very proud of where we have come in case we reached a menopause. See, first of all, we need to understand
ये
menopause.
साथ में इतना बैगेज क्यों आता है? Like,
हाँ, ये baggage नहीं होना चाहिए. नहीं होना चाहिए. I really feel I'm a menopausal woman and I had an early menopause at 42 and today I'm 60 and I really feel I have achieved
You
the
are 60?
best. I'm 60. So no, I mean, It's true. I'm 60. I have a son who's married. I have a daughter who's just about to get married. I had a menopause at 42, and frankly speaking, I have achieved the best in my life after my menopause. I did everything which I wanted to do. In fact, I feel so happy. Okay, now there's no tension, there's no worry. You can hike, you can swim, you can do whatever you want. But menopause taught me the importance of looking after myself, looking after my diet, like Dr. shares, looking after my exercise. I became a trained yoga teacher at the age of 50 years, along with my profession. I learned to look after myself. I learned to advance my skills. I became advanced robotic surgeons. I mean, I did everything which anybody would do with a lot of gratitude in my heart. Now, you have to say menopause तो हो गया, now उसको you can't stop it. You cannot reverse it. जो AIDS एक बार खत्म हो गए, वो खत्म हो गए. Now, how best you can manage yourself.
Accept कैसे करें?
Be happy
We are in
about
constant
it.
denial. We are
See, you
aging.
need to
We don't want to go
understand,
back.
if you see all around, you will see so many women. It's just that we don't want to see them. There are so many women who have achieved the best in their lives after menopause. And menopause is not the end of the so-called best days of your life. I mean, provided you look after yourself, you can remain healthy, you can be very productive, you can be very fruitful. It is just that you need to look after yourself. The right diet, of course, is the most important thing. Like she also said, I've also seen in my practice, it is what you put inside. I'm sure Dr. Deepti will also agree, acne and everything else, your skin and hair reflect how internally healthy you are. If you're applying anything topically, it might fix you for 3-4 months. But beyond that, if your lifestyle is not good, you'll come back to where you started. So it has to be a multidisciplinary management where Dr. Deepti gives something, where Dr. Khosla gives something, I give you certain, medicines, whatever is required, and the overall management. It cannot be fixed by just one thing. So this is what is important, that we need to learn to take control of the situation, not get worried about it, not get scared about it. Nobody dies because of menopause. कोई आदमी मरता नहीं है भाई menopause से. And ऐसे भी नहीं होता कि लोग लटक पटक जाते हैं, ऐसा भी नहीं होता है. I mean, if you look after yourself, it's perfectly great phase to be in.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I really feel we must be proud of what we've achieved. We've come that far. We've grown in our profession. We've raised a beautiful family. We've raised beautiful children. We should be proud of ourselves. Always.
Dr. Ishi, I think majority of us, we want to remain thin and no belly fat, and we want a tight skin and glowing skin, and we want to be healthy. But what I think, once you start aging or beyond 60, 65, 70, our aim should be climb the stairs, carry our own shopping bags, able to hold our grandkids. I think that should be the aim. But yeah, of course, we also want all these things. So what do you think? How do we know what deficiency we have after 40? What kind of checkups we require, and how to fulfill those deficiencies?
Yeah, I think before I answer your question specifically, I just like to take on from the acne part which you were talking about, that literally fixing food intolerances just fixes the acne by default. And what happens is during these hormonal changes in our lives, whether it is starting from the menstrual cycle to pregnancy to perimenopause and then menopause, the gut undergoes negative changes. There is a whole microbial body called the estrobolome, the microbes which control the estrogen with the enterohepatic circulation. Now that itself tells us that there is something in the gut which is controlling our hormones. And when that happens, the gut becomes leaky. If there is a shift, it becomes a negative shift, and that causes leakiness in the gut, which is like a membrane. It's just like a cheesecloth in our system where the food is supposed to be picked up. That there are little gaps which should not be there, but they develop with with lots of the impact of many changes in our food so this leakiness causes development of food intolerance. So whether we are talking about today, somebody is getting dairy intolerant, somebody is getting gluten intolerant, somebody is getting nut intolerant, but more than that, these two are the two primary ones which we are seeing as big drivers of our health issues. And literally in a week's time, 10 days, the patient comes back with a clear skin and acne nahi hua. We just withdraw, eliminate these trigger foods, which are, because these are hard proteins to digest. Dairy protein, and I'm not talking of lactose. I'm talking of that is milk sugar. I'm talking of the protein. So whether it's the protein or it's the gluten, they are tough molecules to digest and break down for anybody. And when there are gaps or holes in the gut, they don't get time to get digested. They go partially digested into the bloodstream, causing inflammation. Now, that the word for you to manage is, don't manage your weight, manage inflammation. Yeah, and with Vidya Balan has put it out there for us to put a stamp on it. Yeah, so basically, if you make these little connections, you will be able to not only manage acne, it will be managing your weight and your mood and your overall health. So food intolerances also lead to what we call deficiencies, micronutrient deficiencies. Today, we have no business to be seeing the kind of deficiencies that we see in our obese patients who are obviously eating way beyond what they are supposed to be eating, and they are the most critically malnourished individuals. So I have 100 kgs, 40-year-old man who eats meat and eggs 3 times a day, begins with eggs and has non-veg 3 times, and his vitamin B12 is not even detected. It's so low. And vitamin D levels critically low today across the population, more than 90%. What's happening? So essentially, the gut is not able to do its job, because even though we are eating well, even though we are nourishing our bodies with good food, and there is what we call food abundance, yet there is scarcity inside. So we need to document the levels of the kind of vitamins. Typically, we do test for D, we test for B12, we test for iron, but we can't test for everything. And sometimes these tests can be erroneous. For instance, a magnesium test, if it's done, it can really be misleading, because we all need magnesium. That's one nutrient, if you're talking about menopause, can really, really help you. But if you do your blood levels and say, oh, it's not so bad, it's telling you nothing, because the cellular levels and the serum levels are very different. So one has to be very careful about what is being tested. But yet, whatever we do, we need to optimize that through supplements, through a good diet, and of course, fixing the leaky gut, which means the key culprits which are causing the problems. And typically, the primary culprit today, we know the biggest culprit is wheat and some other grains which behave like wheat for the body. And these include corn, soya, oats. And paradoxically, when we were studying nutrition, soya was the food to fight hormonal problems and deal with menopause. But unfortunately, the body doesn't handle it well. Putting it simply, we'll just say we have lost tolerance to many foods that were part and inherently part of our diet and our culture because of unfortunate changes in our ecosystem, which includes a very major shift in the quality of wheat in the 1960s. And that has really played havoc with our health. And with age, of course, leaky gut happens anyway. So we do get, particularly around menopause, so we do develop these kind of sensitivities. And once, if you understand the mechanism, when you do an IgG food intolerance test and you find all these 100 items that you're showing up, it's not that they are the culprits. The primary leak was caused by 1 or 2 grains, and then the others, when obviously if there are holes, you can imagine a channi which has got too many holes, everything is just going through whatever you eat. So very often they say, oh, almonds I eat every day. How come I'm allergic to almonds? You're not allergic to almonds. No. It's just that because you're eating them, they're just going partially digested into the bloodstream, causing the immune system to create antibodies to counter that. And that is what is being tested as positive in the test. So they need interpretation. Yeah. And yes, everything which is going to go inside and is going to cause an immune reaction is going to cause inflammation. So you will get rashes or you'll get some kind of, inflammation. I had a very interesting patient yesterday. This was the first time, and I am taking this opportunity to share it with you. So there was a husband-wife, and the wife just was trying to tell me that the husband should tone down his alcohol intake. And because she says it causes so much inflammation in him and otherwise whatever. So the interesting thing that she said was, I have alcohol, and she's must be in her 40s. She's saying the day I have alcohol, the next morning I have dandruff on my head. The day I have alcohol. It's not like she has an allergy, but it triggers inflammation.
The reason behind PCOS, thyroid problems, menopausal symptoms, plastic bottles, plastic jars, lunch boxes, the films which we love when we place, put our leftovers in the fridge, when we heat our food in the microwaves. So this is, even things like when you cut your food on a chopping board, the plastic chopping board, when you mix your cake mix in a plastic bowl with this thing. If you look around, it is so difficult to find a life which is free of plastic. But then as an intelligent woman, we need to be aware of this. Like she said, read the labels, be aware of all these endocrine disruptors. The commonest thing is scented candles. How many people know that scented candles are bad? How many people? And still we use it. We gift it. So many fancy brands. We gift people, scented candles. So scented candles, and even plastics are there in your kitchen, in your bathroom, in your lipsticks, in your vanity boxes. So like she said, be very careful. Read the labels. Be responsible towards your own health. Today, we are living in a slightly dangerous world where, we are being sold so many things. So we need to be very, very careful all the time.
Dr. Ghosla, like Dr. Anjali told us, कि 10 बजे सो जाओ, right? और no alcohol, no processed food, mindful of microplastic. But not possible for us, all of us sitting here. क्या करें? 2 बार पी सकते हैं? या थोड़ा बहुत खा सकते हैं? Like, let's hear from you. What can be done? What cannot be done? And what if we have done the crime? We came back 2 p.m. We got drunk, or we had little bit. We ate too much. What to do next day?
Okay. You are making it official. On prescription. Okay. So let's face it, we've all been through this. This journey is something which, like you said, Delhi NCR, I think it's very unique to the Indian or the subcontinent nature of entertainment, that, and there may be good reasons for it, because nowhere else in the world do you see people entertaining. Every party begins not before 9:30, 10. Sometimes the kids leave at 10, 11. So these are peculiar, sometimes are generational, but peculiar things in this part of the world. And I don't know how much we can fix it because of our lifestyles, but somewhere we do have a responsibility of fixing it as women. If I'm having a get together and I invite somebody, I can give a time which is reasonable. I know in India, many people do not come back before 7:30, 8. All those things given, you can make a reasonable time to serve your food. That I feel is a very important thing. One is about waking up to 2. That's a different thing, but at least eat or serve your food in time. And this often clashes with the people who want alcohol. But I don't think it really matters. If somebody has to have, the khana before and drink later, that may be all right. But, psychologically it doesn't gel. I'm just bringing it up because I do try and do it in my home. And it does work for a lot of the kind of people in the gatherings. And my brother's in Perth, and he said, we get an invite for dinner at 3 o'clock. So by the time we are there, we get done with our drinks.
We eat
and-
lunch. I mean, generally, majority of Indians we eat lunch.
Yeah.
around
So I said
3,
dinner
4 p.m.
invite at 3 and they have to wind up by 8 o'clock because the next day is a working day. So I think, like I said, work culture may not permit all of this to a ideal situation. But yes, kya karna hai?
क्या करना है, right? Can I add something? Yeah.
So this is, I don't know, to scare people or what. So we have had a recent Lancet study which says that now onwards, all the alcohol bottles will have a statutory warning like a cigarette that it is injurious to health.
But people who are smoking, they see all those scary pictures, but they still smoke.
No, but this is the least as a policy maker which they can do. Ultimately, it's our own responsibilities towards our own health. So, I'm a teetotaler. I go to a party and I really feel, if I look at a person who would say, I'm a teetotaler, I would get attracted
But
to
do
that
you serve?
person. I would say, yes, isme kuch baat hai.
Do you serve?
No, we don't serve.
Oh.
So, boring party. No, again, it's a personal choice. See, I'm not saying alcohol is wrong or having a non-vegetarian food is wrong. It is how you look after yourself. See, if you exercise, if you take care of everything else and आप alcohol भी लेते हैं, there's nothing wrong. But the problem happens when you do everything wrong together. So if you are great at exercising, your sleep cycle is good, but if you take a drink, enjoy your drink with your friends, you have whatever you like, it's perfectly all right. So in terms of food also, I'm sure Dr. Khosla would agree, none of us can have 100% best diet forever. I say this ki in case 95% diet aapki achhi hai, 5% you have a right to enjoy that drink or maybe Haldiram Chola Bhatura or whatever. We are human beings and we must, give this much credit to ourselves. I hope I'm right.
Doctor, हमारा वो आंसर like next day क्या करें फिर?
Hydrate.
I'm not giving those after party suggestions. But on the food front and lifestyle, there is an opportunity for us to balance. So please eat light, keep it liquid because it helps the digestion. The stomach doesn't have to work as hard. So being on nourishing liquids like soups or smoothies and juices is a smart thing to do. Hydrate with nimbu pani and simple common sense things. And I think it's time to bring up fasting as a very important aspect of our digestive health and gut repair. I spoke about the leaky gut. And what does fasting do? It actually helps to join the gaps. It sort of resets our gut.
Resets your body, yeah.
Yeah. And again, fasting has been a part of our culture. Anything which is good for us, I think, gets a religious tone to it. And we've had Monday fasts and Tuesday fasts and Thursday fasts, etc., etc. So there may be some merit in it. Maybe our ancestors were smarter. So what kind of fast, whether you want to do a 1 meal fast or you want to do a water fast or a liquid fast or an intermittent fast or just a fruits and vegetable fast, whatever that works for you psychologically, do it. It will help to balance out a lot of the damage that has happened with wild partying.
Right.
Okay, can I give some hacks?
Yes.
So I was recently just researching something on the sugar spikes because sugar spike is the one that leads to a lot of inflammation in the body and the insulin resistance and a lot of things following it. So before eating a pizza, have a spoon of apple cider vinegar and water that reduces the sugar spike. Before eating a pizza or any heavy meal, have a bowl full of salad. This reduces your sugar spike. So these are small things which you can just include in your, I'm sure Dr. Ishi will be able to give a better insight on that. But I was just researching something like that and I think it was quite honestly a fruitful thing.
So before moving to the Q&A, Dr. Deepti, quickly tell us about pigmentation which happens during perimenopause, menopause, because you start seeing those, pigmented skin, it starts coming on your skin. So why it happens?
See, the estrogen levels and progesterone levels causing havoc during the menopausal period leads to a lot of pigmentation, dark spots. Also, the reduction in the estrogen levels, suddenly, the fall of the estrogen levels reduces, it starts skin thinning. It reduces the hydration in the skin. So this is one of the most important things that happens to the skin when the hormones are changing. So make sure you're hydrating your skin properly with good application of the products, which are less laden with chemicals and more deeply, something like glycerin, ceramides, peptides, all these things that you read on the labels. These are all good for skin during this time. And the pigmentation also is a product of inflammations that is going on in the body. So to reduce the inflammations, include a lot of antioxidants in your diet. A lot of antioxidant supplements would help you reducing the stress levels again, because the stress is again increasing the cortisol, which is in turn causing pigmentation. So whatever hormone changes are going on in the skin, a lot of them reflect as pigmentation. It could be insulin resistant. It could be your thyroid levels, which are also changing during this time. So you have to make sure, get your blood test, if there is a major problem of pigmentation, visit your doctor, visit your gynecologist and check your hormones first. Go to an endocrinologist, just get your hormones checked. What is going wrong? Why the pigmentation is coming? First, get a reason for why. And then you can start treating it, as in take a good skincare. Start with a good skincare regime at home. If you're still not using sunscreen, how many of you are actually not using sunscreen by this age? Everybody's using sunscreen every day. Not using. See, you've got beautiful skin. That's why you're not using it.
And reapplication of sunscreen is very important, right?
See, sunscreen is one of the best investment in your skin, I would say. Everything else is aside, sunscreen is aside. So sunscreen has to be applied every day religiously, whether it is sunny, rainy, you're inside the house, outside, whatever the weather is. You're in London, it's all dark. You still need a lot of sunscreen. Right. Because the sunscreen is single one thing that will protect you from all UVA, UVB rays, which are constantly coming. Even sitting inside this room, we are exposed to the UVA and UVB rays. So you need, even these lights, they are aging our skin constantly. So we need to repeat our sunscreen every 4 to 6 hours, depending on what kind of sunscreen you're using. There are now advanced sunscreens with a lot of anti-aging properties, a lot of hydrating properties, which are very good during this time. So opt your product wisely according to your skin type, whether your skin is oily, your skin is dry. Usually during menopause, the skin moves towards dry and thinning of the skin. So opt for products which are more hydrating to your skin, more products with hyaluronic acid. Now, hyaluronic acid is a substance that naturally occurs in our skin, but it reduces with age. Now, hyaluronic acid, one molecule can actually hold about 1.5 gallons of water. So this is the capacity of hyaluronic acid. So include hyaluronic acid in your application of the products. So as I was saying, read the labels. Check for these, names that your product has this or doesn't have it. Whether it is just moisturizing with what? Is it just glycerin? Is it peptides? Is it hyaluronic acid? What is it in the product that is hydrating your skin? So work upon more building the collagen in the skin. Again, if there is good hydration, the collagen of the skin will be better. So whether we are doing treatments in clinic or you're not doing anything, even in the clinic when we are doing treatments, we advise a lot of hydration along with the treatments, because the outcome is always better when your skin is nicely hydrated. So even if I'm trying to do an MNRF, a microneedling with radio frequency for collagen induction, all collagen induction treatments, we need a lot of hyaluronic acid in the skin so that they can perform better. Right. The results are always better. We're trying to treat acne scars, we need a lot of hydration in the skin. Whether the skin is oily, we can balance the oil along with a right skincare. So it's not that skin oily hai to aaj maine moisturizer nahi lagaya, because the skin is oily. What you're actually doing is that you're triggering your oil glands to produce more oil if you're keeping your skin dry for too long. This typically happens with teenagers. They come to me, they're like, already bahut oily hai, we don't apply anything. So when you don't apply anything, you're triggering your oil glands and giving them a message that you need more oil on the skin. So they are more triggered, they are producing even more oil. So you need to balance the oil production of the skin by application of the right product for your skin. So, yeah.
So use Fix Derma and FCL Skincare backed by a dermatologist, like they prescribe
Yes,
us. Yeah.
it is important to know your skin. If you are not able to figure it out, do not prolong it too long and
Yeah.
seek a medical advice, seek a medical help. There is no harm in it. It's not the the previous days that हो रहा है तो हो रहा है अपने आप चला जाएगा ये तो होता ही है teenage में. I'm sorry, होता है, but there are things you can manage. So why don't you take a professional help?
Yes. So I think stop visiting WhatsApp University and less Googling, less Facebook. Dr. Deepti is there for all your skincare solutions. Yeah. So Dr. Anjali, what are the tests you recommend for us when we are above women who are above 40? What tests they should get, done periodically?
So first of all, invest in a proper, preventive health package. These days, most of the labs, they give you a very economical package. So get that done. Gynecologically, you need to get an whole abdomen scan along with a transvaginal scan. In case you've not been married or not sexually active, have never been sexually active, you can get a transabdominal scan. But otherwise, insist upon getting a transvaginal scan. A pap smear should be done by every woman every 3 years. And then you should get a mammogram of the breast in case you are more than 40 years. In case you are less than 30 years, you need to get an ultrasound. It is very important to also get a bone densitometry done.
Every year?
So bone densitometry every year. So another thing which happens in after a menopause is that our bone density can come down. So bone density का क्या मतलब होता है कि हमारी bones खोखली हो जाती है, Otherwise, our bones are very compact, very strong. But estrogen is something which increases the growth of the bone tissue. So after menopause, in case you do not take care, you might lose your bone density. Of course, exercise, taking calcium supplements, magnesium supplements like Dr. Khosla said, vitamin D and other things. But still, it is important to get bone density done. And in case your levels are less, then the doctor can give you special medicines to increase the bone density. And of course, depending upon whatever the results show, we can supplement. And, in case there's a woman who actually needs an HRT also, I would just want to talk about that also because this is a very, very hot topic. HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy, which means that after you've gone into menopause, and in case you have a lot of these symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats, and in case your bone density says that your bone density is coming down, then HRT can be thought about, right? So the guidelines, the scientific guidelines are that in case you are less than 60 years and your menopause has happened 10 years, not later than 10 years, then you can be a candidate for HRT. But in case you're more than 60 years and आपके menopause को 10 साल से ज़्यादा हो गया है, तब HRT की ज़रूरत नहीं होती. Of course, I would not go into technical details of HRT. Another thing is people think that HRT is a fix for everything. It is not like that. So the decision to HRT has to be taken by a doctor. We decide on various factors that what HRT, how much HRT, but it definitely has a place.
Right. So, doctor, I have noticed breast cancer is really on a rise.
Yeah.
So, people are getting mammography done, but still happening
So
or they are not doing it regularly.
Mammography is a test
Okay.
to detect. Mammography is not something to prevent breast cancer.
But generally we think mammogram. So, we'll come to know
let's come to what causes breast cancer, first of all. So the major reason for breast cancer is genetic. There is some kind of a gene which predisposes us towards getting breast cancer. So there are certain factors which increase a woman's possibility of getting breast cancer. For example, in case there's a woman who's never had children, somebody who has never breastfed her baby, she is at a higher risk of getting breast cancer. So having a child and breastfeeding the child actually protects us against breast cancer. But having said that, it is not a foolproof thing. It can happen to any women who are smokers, women who are on a higher, higher weight side also are at a higher risk. Now, unfortunately, we are seeing breast cancer cases as little as the youngest patient which I have seen was 24 years. She was pregnant, and at 7 months, we detected that she is having breast cancer. So we carried on her pregnancy up to 32 weeks. We delivered her. After that, she underwent a surgery. So by that, I'm meaning to say that never ever ignore the possibility. You must know your family history. In case there is someone in your family, even remotely in your, family tree who's got a breast cancer, be aware of that. Tell your doctor that there is someone who's, got this. So accordingly, you should get your, before 40 years, we do an ultrasound. After 40 years, we do a mammogram. There is also a place for self breast examination. So in fact, like we have a channel called Maitri, and at Maitri, you can get all this information about breast health and menstrual health. Please see that. So self breast examination is a technique which every woman must know. Can I just tell them within
Sure,
2 minutes?
please.
How should you examine your breast? So the best time to examine your breast is immediately after you finish your periods. So remove your clothes. First of all, stand in front of the mirror, observe both the breast, whether they look the same size or not, what is the position of the nipple. And after that, you lie down on a flat bed. Now, to palpate the, let's say the left breast, you will have to use the right hand. So always palpate with the flat of the hand. So it's like this. You never palpate like this. So you palpate the entire area of the breast. You start with the clavicle, which is the collarbone, and you go up to the last rib. And in the middle, you go up to the mid of the sternum, which is the mid bone hair. And then you go to the mid axillary line, which is the armpit, the middle of that. So roughly, you need to cover this. It will take about 5 minutes in case you're doing the right breast examination. So take time. And then you start slowly and slowly cover the entire area of the breast. Then you come onto this side also. And then you press the nipple and see if there is any discharge. So first week or so, probably you will only learn how does my breast feel. And once you know that this is how my breast feels like, then later on, in case there's a problem, you will be able to identify if there's a problem. Of course, there's a technique when you palpate, you superficially palpate, फिर थोड़ा सा और deep palpate करो. So this is a skill which every woman must know. And please do this every month. Every month after you finish with your periods. In case somebody is postmenopausal, do it every month. Please teach this to every woman in your family. If there's any doubt,
Yes.
please watch that channel.
It's very
Just
useful,
find this
actually. Very
technique,
useful.
yeah.
Yeah.
So please do that.
Yeah. Thank you. Dr. Ishi, so how soon we should start making the changes in our nutrition, and how should we educate our girls, especially, what they are, going to face in the future?
So I think it should be for every woman, like we're talking about planned pregnancies, we should prepare our body for being pregnant. That's very critical. To just don't look at conception, but just ensure that you are living a healthy lifestyle. You are doing all the check boxes, whether it is your diet, your nutritional supplements, whether you are exercising, your sleep, in adequate sleep and stress management, all of those things positive. We have to head to prepare the body. And I tell some of my patients who come and I said, just give 6 months more. Let the body, come back. Address food sensitivities, do all your checks and, then get into that situation. Because at the end of the day, we are controlling the future of our children.
Right.
The health of our pregnancy, whether we are optimally, not only just the fact that, you have the right birth weight, but what kind of child that we're going to produce in this future of the child health point of view, everything is within the first 1,000 days from pregnancy to 2 years later.
So there are so many women here वी रियलाइज कि 40 के बाद कि हमें अब नट्स खाने चाहिए. हमने पहले तो खाए नहीं थे. या वी शुड नाउ स्टार्ट ईटिंग मोर फ्रूट जूसेस, मोर वेजिटेबल्स. तो क्या लेट भी स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं कि अब कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा?
नहीं नहीं, द बॉडी इज वेरी फॉरगिविंग एंड कभी भी कर सकते हैं. लेकिन आपने फ्रूट जूसेस बोला, लेकिन वो थोड़ा सा हम रेजर्वेशन होते हैं उस पे,
राइट.
क्योंकि इट स्पाइक्स इंसुलिन एंड
Okay.
activates the wrong hormones. So eat your fruit and don't OD on fruits also.
Okay.
That's another one. So yeah, I think, and this, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about fats, since
Right.
we're talking
Right.
about nuts, that fats have been the most misunderstood among many other things in our diets, because fats are different, good fats and bad fats. By now everyone understands that. But still there is a reservation on the usage of fat. I think good fats need to be there in abundance in our diet, and only then will you also start making a difference to your gut and your estrogen and your hormones. So eating fat does not mean you will be fat.
Okay.
That's very clear.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not talking of the bakery fats. I'm not talking of the fried fats. I'm not talking of those fats. I'm talking of real fats, which start with, in our context in India, let's start with ghee. Butter and desi ghee are actually fuel for your gut lining. I spoke about the lining and the cheesecloth effect. So you can actually give fuel to your gut cells by having desi ghee. And, if you look at the traditional practices, one gets so fascinated कि यही तो करते थे.
Right.
Some elderly still have ghee in their tea in the morning. Or
So
just
that early morning ghee is
absolutely good food for your gut
Okay.
and for your digestion. When you do a havan, you put ghee, the fire increases. So you actually improve your digestive fire by having ghee. And unfortunately, these have all been in the, you eat it with guilt. मैं घी के साथ खाया, that kind of a thing. But please have your staples, your rice, your rotis with ghee. And especially if you're doing millets, they must be taken with a good quantity of ghee. Again, something which was done traditionally. So, starting from ghee and butter to having coconut oil to, again, a very good fat for your intestinal health and for anti-candida. And then going on to the cold pressed oils. The oils that we eat have been given to believe are healthy were the refined oils. And now I think that whole, it's taken a U-turn, just like alcohol. Now they're putting this label. And when I was in my cardiac hospital escorts, we were all like 2 drinks say 2 drinks 3 times a week is actually going to protect you from heart disease.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
It's not. It's not.
No. Oh, okay.
No, I'm talking about the U-turn. It's not. Now I think we have just lost tolerance. Like
I remember it was like a glass of wine is good. Yeah.
Remember? Those were researches and there are papers. And we always said it, if people wanted to, I said, that's it. But don't start drinking for the benefits of, So, and now we're talking about the warning. So just like many other things, we've also lost tolerance. Our bodies are just not the same. So coming back to the fats, cold pressed oils are good for you. And we are getting, in our own context, North India, mustard oil is excellent. You also get good sesame oil. Again, very good for menopause. It has loads of calcium and some estrogen. And flax seeds, of course, all these nuts and the seeds are good fats. So don't shy away from them, but don't OD on them again, because you can upset your digestion. Too many nuts can also cause a disruption of your digestive health. And one food, I don't believe in miracle foods and magic, but certainly it deserves attention, is wild yam for menopause.
Oh,
yes. So do explore it and check it out. Wild yam has some brilliant effects on treating menopausal symptoms. And it's a very powerful anti-inflammatory and good for your gut.
right.